Okay, today we are playing a game on Numbani and the Horizon Lunar Colony, and we will spend about half the time as Widowmaker and about half the time as Tracer, and there is no SR for today's video because these are both placement games. Yes, they are actually both competitive games as well, if you can believe it. And the reason for that, I will just read to you from the email. My request is that you review both of these games together and give an analysis of how my play was different in the game where I felt I did well and pulled my weight versus a game where I felt like I was a detriment to my team. If I know what I could have done better in games that go like Horizon, losses wouldn't be so one-sided, and if it's something I'm already doing when I'm performing well, it should be an easy fix. Basically, I just want to be more consistent. Consistency is important. So, let's start the game. Sound's messed up, by the way. No sound today. We'll be sitting here in sullen silence as we watch the games. So we are starting as Widowmaker on Numbani. One of the better maps to play Widowmaker on, because there's a lot of high ground about. So, did we see a Sombra slip by right there? No. No, yeah, there is a Sombra. I just saw something fly through the air, and I was like, oh, translocator. And I was like, oh, wait, no, some animal's just playing Anna. Jesus Christ. In 2018? Oh my goodness, it's current year. So, currently, our mine is out nowhere, which bothers me, because it's just better off out there somewhere, rather than nowhere, because this cooldown is just doing nothing the entire time we haven't used it. And there's two thoughts on how you use the Venom Mine. There's the thought that you use it to watch a flank or something like that, and then there's a thought where you just chuck it into the enemy team to do damage. I'm of the school where you should just chuck it into the enemy team to do damage, because it is basically just guaranteed damage. And there's other ways to look at, there's other ways to watch for flanks than the Venom Mine. You know, you can listen, you can just look. It's just free damage and free ult charge by extension as well. Basically, it should be somewhere. It shouldn't just be nowhere. So, Sombra's just popped out behind us. Like, the hack lasts for a really long time, so rather than, like, looking up there, I'd rather we were actually looking over to see if we could get any shots in while we were waiting for the hack to run out, because we do just spend, like, 6 seconds looking up at the catwalk. Which, we could have done, like, you know, looking to see if we could have hit somebody and then gone up as soon as the hack was over instead. So there goes Sombra. Did we see her chuck her translocator somewhere? Or did she translocate over there to begin with? No, she did chuck her translocator. It looks like it went off the edge, though, so that's not very productive. Again, like, just very upset. I'm very upset that the Venom Mine's been off cooldown this entire time and we haven't used it once. Like, just put it down somewhere. Just somewhere. Just use the ability, please. There's a Sombra lurking around, so you can just, like, put it in the doorway to the right-hand side, and Sombra, like, won't be able to get up to you without tripping over the mine, right? Well, I mean, she can shoot the mine before she approaches you, but you'll know she's coming, because there's no other way for her to get up there unless she's going to translocate up to you, which wouldn't really be recommended. So now we're playing Tracer for a while. We do play Widowmaker again during this round, but not for the rest of the defense, I don't think. I did watch these games, but it kind of all blurs together after a while, you know. So, now, we do stall this point out for a lot longer than we have any right to relay. We're bullying this Zenyatta, he's really upset about that. His team didn't really do a very good job of helping him. Got shot in the face. It's one of those things where, like, you lived longer than you had any right to live, so good job. You know, we stalled the point long enough for our team to actually, like, get back. But as we can see by the kill feed, it's not exactly going very well up there. This guy's named Shadow, and he's playing Reinhardt. That's like the exact opposite of the hero he should be playing when he has that name, you know? So we ended up getting sandwiched in with Mei right there. It strikes me as a bit of an overexpenditure of resources to chuck the pulse bomb at Hanzo. But I mean, fuck Hanzo, I guess, It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to use the pulse bomb right there, because, like, frankly, I don't expect to hold on to this objective, and Hanzo, I'd rather stick a support, you know? Of course, we know Zenyatta had Transcendence, so he would have used that regardless. It's just, the Hanzo didn't strike me as being the greatest target for that one right there. This has all gone, like, so much better than it... Like, can you believe that we've actually held this point for as long as we have? This is some 2CP shit happening right here, but it's the first checkpoint on Numbani. It's incredible. Now we finally lost it. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, the Horizon game isn't very long, so... This is like an average length, and Horizon is really short against all odds, so it shakes out to be about the average length of a Hanamura game. Sometimes you get fucked by Hanzo. That was actually pretty good. He saw us whiz over there, and he anticipated where we'd come through, and he managed to get us. It's actually, like, better than I expected it to be. So. It's very weird just sitting here in silence. Can't hear the game at all. I don't listen to the game anyway, but I don't just sit here, I don't just mute the game, so it's very unusual. So, the other DPS at this point is Mei, which is, I mean, you know, it's not ideal. We're coming back here to bully the supports. Zenyatta does not have Transcendence back up again. We've killed both their supports. Hanzo's also dead. They've lost this fight. We've been hacked. We are the most tragic hero in the game to get hacked, because then we are suddenly just a really, really shitty soldier at that point. Like, it's bad. We've gotten fortunately, like, we've already won this fight anyway, so it didn't matter that we died, because we already killed both the supports, and, Hanzo died as well. So they lost that fight. Like, it didn't matter that we died at that point. We get rezzed as well, so it feels good. So, the, I mean, I guess I don't want to give it away. I was going to say the thing I noticed in this game compared to the other game, but it makes more sense to talk about that at the end, rather than before we've seen everything happen, doesn't it? So, basically, what we're going to do is spend a lot of time bullying the backline. As we can see, Mei's back here harassing the supports. We're going to come back here, and between us and Mei, we're going to kill both the supports. They've lost both of their supports at the very start of this fight. As you can see, they really cared. They're like a solid 2 streets away from the supports who died, so they were really invested in helping Ana and Zenyatta out of that one. Then we get back just in time to pulse bomb the Graviton. We died, but, like, we killed 4 people before we died, so it's a pretty okay trade. Especially seeing as we're Tracer, so we get back quickly. We do a very good job of bullying the backline in this game, basically. We spend, like... It's already quite tragic that their combination of healers is Ana and Zenyatta, because, I mean, Ana's just a very tragic hero to be picking. This is post-Mercy nerf, by the way, just so everyone's up to date. Went in really aggressively on that one. Mei was going in really aggressively as well. Probably didn't need to recall just yet, but I mean, we were gonna recall in there, so I guess it's better to just not even take the chance, right? So the thing that bothered me about this particular stretch of gameplay is that recall is on cooldown right now, which means we kind of have to be more passive while it's on cooldown. We are going around fighting people at 0, like we keep putting ourselves at 0 blinks and going in aggressively while recall is on cooldown. You should die for that. And we die anyway, after recall came up. When recall's on cooldown, you've got to play more passively in general, just because it's really easy to die very suddenly if you don't have recall, because that's like what gets you out of danger. But then on top of that, we're fighting at 0 blinks as well, so we're just like really hamstringed on resources, and we're still being very aggressive in the fight. Like, we should be playing more passively during that period, rather than still, like, going in, being at 0 blinks and 0 recall. I mean, you know, I say 0 recall like you can be above 1 recalls. No, you cannot, unfortunately. As cool as that would be. So we stuck Hanzo. Fuck Hanzo. Am I right? I'd still rather stick a support than Hanzo, but I mean, fuck Hanzo, I guess. Got hooked. Feels bad, man. We have to have known he was there, right? I was kind of distracted talking about Hanzo. We have to have known Roadhog was here. We actually did it. Where did he come from? Oh, there he is. He was around the corner. Okay, I was like, where the fuck did Roadhog actually come from? He was around the corner over here. Okay. I mean, we know they have a Roadhog, so we do have to be careful that we don't, like, get hooked by him. It's one of those things where Roadhog isn't, like, a strict counter to Tracer, but you do have to keep in mind where he is, because he is one of the heroes that can kill you. So it's just sort of, you know, it's something you gotta be aware of where he is and play around his zone of threat, because his zone of threat is still scary to you. And then you see him hook, and then he's not scary anymore at all. So, what were we doing up here? I got distracted talking about my thing. What are we doing all the way up here? Thinking about going that way. Decides to go this way, I guess. Fair enough. Don't quite manage to kill Hanzo before he gets his ultimate off. Very sad. Oop, recall away. So, we're trying to focus, like, Hanzo down right here. I mean, you know, fuck Hanzo, I understand, but, like, the supports are a bigger concern to me, especially since Hanzo has already used his ultimate. It's also, like, really hard to kill someone if they're being helped by somebody else. Like, if we're gonna try and kill a DPS while Ana or any healer, like any main healer is there, we're gonna have to, like, get right up on that boy's face and one-clip him, which is very scary to do on a Hanzo. Oh, didn't quite have Pulse Bomb, it's alright, managed to go over here and build one up in time. Unfortunately, the only person that was in the Graviton was, well, we killed Ana, the only other person in there was the nano-boosted Reinhardt, so it didn't end up paying massive dividends, but it's what you do with the Pulse Bomb, so it's fair enough. But yeah, if you can't just, like, go up and one-clip the dude to death, you're better off just changing to the support, rather than trying to focus the DPS down through the support's healing, because it's really hard to kill the support through the DPS through the support healing. Unless it's a fucking Lucio or a Zenyatta. You know, if it's an off-healer or whatever, if it's one of the main healers, you kind of need to change over to the support, basically. Unless you're just going to really confidently go up to the dude's face and drill him to death. But I'd be hesitant to do that to somebody who can just hit you in the face with an entire tree. You know, that's just me, though. So we're playing Widow again now. Like, the thing that upsets me about the Nova skin, right, is that Nova is not really the sort of character that would go around being as deliberately sexy as Widowmaker does. I mean, Widowmaker's gonna fucking wreck her spinal column, right? Because she just walks around constantly sticking her ass out like 3 feet behind her. Nova's not really that way. So it just bothers me to see, like, Nova attached to Widowmaker's animations, you know? Basically, what I'm basically saying to you is, why the fuck didn't Blizzard hire a team to completely redo all of Widowmaker's animations to make them more lore-appropriate with Nova, who doesn't actually exist in this universe? How fucking inconsiderate of them, am I right? Anyway. Remember when Nova was going to have her own video game? Oh, those were the days. Now she just has, like, submissions in StarCraft 2. How exciting. Anyway, you know. So we managed to kill Tracer. Widowmaker is actually pretty good against Tracer because you only gotta hit her, right? And then after that, Tracer has to play very cautiously if you don't just kill her. So, Widowmaker's actually better against Tracer than you would expect. So there's some aim better in here, but then we make up for it by killing the 2 supports right there and then. Now, we die. But we killed Tracer, she'll be getting back soon. But we killed Tracer, then we killed the 2 supports. Fuck, that's a 1 for 3, I'll take it. And it was the 2 supports as well, so big money. You know, just like hook shot over this balcony to get there quicker. When you're trying to get back to the fight, you want to use your movement ability as soon as possible so you can get the cooldown ticking as fast as possible. Because you just hook shot as soon as you come out. Your hook shot would be coming off cooldown again as you're getting here, and then you would be able to use it again. And you just get back there slightly. You're just slightly more efficient with the cooldown, basically, while it's doing nothing. By the way, like, for the love of God, please use the Venom Mine. I'm getting increasingly upset that we haven't used the Venom Mine at all. Like, just throw it at them. Just throw it at Reinhardt's face and get some ult charge off of him. Like, something, please. Also, when you're attacking, you don't really have to watch flanks as much. So you really do just want to, like, just chuck it at him, right? It's just ult charge, just does damage. Makes it easier to kill people. Go for the hook shot. You know, there's some aim better stuff in here. It's not exactly productive feedback, so we've been sitting on our ultimate for a while at this point, haven't we? Fucking tried to push back, but I haven't, like, clicked back on the window. Like, we've been sitting on Infrasight for, it feels like, a while. Yeah, we've been sitting on it, like, since all the way back here. What the fuck was Farah doing over here? I didn't really think about that one. Like, she was just, like, all the fuck way over here for some godly reason. So, yeah, we've been sitting on Infrasight for a while. Widow's one of those people who charges up her ultimate pretty quickly, because it's not usually very hard for her to find ways to do damage. And I think it would have been fair to use Infrasight during, like, any point during this previous scuffle that we've been having, basically. So this is a very unusual situation we're in right here. Just look at this. Fucking, how often do you see a fucking Widowmaker pushing through Reinhardt's shield to drill him to death? Not very often. So we've used Infrasight now. The thing is, though, with using it now, we gain nothing out of it, because we just fight these people in the street. During the previous fight, it made more sense to use Infrasight because they still had the cover of, like, the bus and the corners and everything to go behind. By that point, we're on the final straight. There's, like, no cover for them to really use anymore, because we just hookshot up there and we can see the entire street, and that's it. There's no cover on that street. So it made more sense to use it during, like, right now, fucking hell, there's a lot of cover they can be using if that fight was still happening. There's the bus, there's the doorways, there's this building over here, there's the corner over here, there's like all sorts of cover over here. By the time we're pushing down the final straight, there's nothing. And that's the thing with Infrasight, the whole point is it lets you see around walls, so you kind of want to use it when there's actually walls to see around, you know? So, we've captured that checkpoint. And this is the part of the map where Widowmaker is less good, because the sight lines don't tend to be as good once you get past this archway, basically. Anywhere you can stand is not very easy to stand in, unless you already have enough control over the area that you're probably going to win regardless. We're getting real close to him right now. Ooh, this is spooky. But we are starting to push around the corner. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, so much shit right on top of each other. We're like right next to the Reinhardt when he uses Earth Shatter, even though we're playing Widowmaker, which is, just, like, use the fucking Venom Mine, though. Like, please, just use the Venom Mine. So we're changing to, did we actually change to Tracer? Yeah, we changed to Tracer. Okay, she's like, please use the Venom Mine. For love of God. We just played Widowmaker, like, the entire time we played Widowmaker, I don't think we used the Venom Mine once, and I'm very upset about it. It's like the entire time we didn't use one of our abilities. I'm very upset about it. I don't think we used it on Horizon, either. Whatever. So, May is frozen people. We're coming up. We bullied that boy. So, their diva's also dead. We just get punched? Is there a Doomfist over here now? Like, what happened to us? No, okay, we just blinked right as we got hit. Okay. We just suddenly shifted over and took damage at the same time. I was like, did you get punched by Doomfist? No, we just blinked right as we took damage. Okay, fucking... It's like fucking 4 a.m. Give me a break. Okay. So, we are coming up here now, we're gonna drill the back line to death again. Zenyatta's just extremely upset. Now Anna's very upset as well. Recalled, like, right on the tail end to actually get full heal off of that. And then, hooray, we won the game. Fantastic. Incredible. So, here's basically what went well in this game, right? Since that's the point, is that we're going to talk about a game where we did well and a game where we did badly. Here's what we did well in this game, right? We acknowledged that Widowmaker wasn't a very good pick anymore. We picked Widowmaker, and then we were like, alright, this is not really working out anymore. We changed to Tracer. Tracer's one of those heroes that's never really bad, so that's, like, fair enough, you know? So, we adapted to Widowmaker, not doing very well. And then as Tracer, we spent a lot of time pressuring the backline. Fucking Zenyatta was really upset. Anna was really upset. And it killed off a lot of momentum. There were several fights in there that they probably would have won if we didn't kill the backline. If you think about the fight where we went in with May right at the start and killed the Anna and the Zenyatta. If we didn't do that, then that fight could have quite easily gone in their favor, right? In the end, we got back in time for the Graviton Pulse Bomb, so it might have still worked out. But when you lose both your supports right at the start of the fight, it doesn't really matter what happens from that point on. You've pretty much lost the fight. So we spent a lot of time pressuring their backline, which really makes it really hard for them to actually win, because they also didn't want to help their backline, right? Like, we just kind of went in and killed Anna and Zenyatta a lot. So that's what went really well in that game. Now we're going to change over to Horizon, where things don't go so well. Right, so we play a lot more of this game as Widowmaker than we did the other game. Because, I mean, this game is short. So, like, just because of how numbers work, that's gonna be kinda how it is. So I'm not really a fan of, like, coming down this way as Widowmaker, because this is, like, the area that's gonna get the most focus dropped on it, whereas you've got, like, come up here, right? But not usually very... Sometimes you come up here and find a fucking Reaper, like, hiding around the corner, but that's pretty rare, right? So if you just go up there, you're probably not gonna get pressured much. And if anybody's kind of like out here, you can just kind of shoot them. Whereas like we come around here and then we end up coming here anyway, but we went through the super focused area first to actually get here. So it just makes more sense to go left right at the start. So we have an Anna now, which is of course very depressing. And she's already dead. Reaper's also already dead now, so we've lost this fight, basically, because we've lost 2 people immediately. Now, this is bad news as well, because remember, they have a Symmetra. We saw Symmetra's ball touched us right at the start of the round. And now Roadhog's dead, so basically, like, Symmetra's gonna get to put her teleporter down this game. That's just how it is. If you don't win the first fight, Symmetra's probably gonna get to put her teleporter down. Not always, but usually. Because, Symmetra's all builds pretty fast. So, the thing is, I'm not really a very big fan of Widowmaker on Horizon to begin with, because there's just, like, the way it works out, here's like the dream situation. Your team just does fine pushing up on one of the sides, and then you can sit really far back and shoot them through the window, or you can go up on the other side and shoot them from behind. Great, right, while they're focused on your team. The issue there is that assumes that your team is going to push into them more or less 5v6, right? And they're gonna do okay over there as well. That's too much of an assumption for me to make, basically. I don't expect that to go super well for the team. I mean, sometimes it does. Sometimes your team is fine, but, like, we've all played a game of Overwatch, I'm sure, so we know this is not usually the case. So, if that doesn't happen, suddenly it gets a lot harder to play Widowmaker, because if your team isn't pushing one way, they can just kind of, like, look at you, right? They can just kind of, like, block you, because your team isn't applying enough pressure to actually force them to look over there, and because of the geometry on Horizon, you don't really ever get to abuse any sightline, because if your team isn't pressuring them in one direction, they can just block you, like it's no big deal. There are also just, like, kind of a lot of places you can stand out of line of sight anyway, like, even in that situation that you're, like, shooting them through the window, you can actually just kind of, like, still stand out of the way of Widowmaker. Yeah, it's annoying that, like, just, like, stepping out into the center can mean death, but, like, Horizon is not the end of the world, either, because of the geometry of the map. I'm just not a very big fan of Widowmaker on this map. I've seen it work, of course, but, like, I don't think it's super consistent. So, you know, we've gotten a few kills. The issue is with, like, the timing of the kills more than anything else, because I've no doubt at the time, because I've played Overwatch, I know how it is. I'm sure at the time we were like, oh, I just killed like 2 people or whatever. Why didn't we win? What happened? By the time we've killed these people, we've already lost the fight, right? Like, the timing of, like, our team dying compared to us getting the kills is really bad. Our team are already losing momentum by the time we get the kills. So even though we get the kills, doesn't matter anymore. There's also, like, it felt like this game was slightly worse mechanically. I felt like we missed more than the other game, but I also didn't really track that. Like, I didn't, like, go back and compare afterwards or anything. It just felt like we missed more shots in this game. Aim is kind of that way, where it fluctuates between games. You know, some games you're going to do really well, and some games you're going to do really badly mechanically. That's just, like, how it is. We can't all be gods like Kefri and Taimu, unfortunately, you know? So, we have Infrasight. It's taken us a while to get to it. Just, like, please use Venom Mine. Well, just, like, please use Venom Mine. I beg of you, please use Venom Mine. So, 2 people dead on our team. Bad times. We did get recompense and killed McCree, but unfortunately, it's pretty fucked. This is, like, very scary, what we're doing right now. He's kind of, like, walking up to the gateway. If I'm to be honest with you, this kind of, like, also feels like one of those games where you probably don't win regardless, because, like, it feels like the team is not doing super well in general. Certainly we can be contributing to that, but it doesn't feel like it's going super well anyway, just, like, broadly speaking. So now we've changed to Tracer when there's 30 seconds left on the round, right? Mm-hmm. So we have at least managed to get the first tick, so that's great. But, like, you can see how this fight's gonna go. We're like the only one here right now. It doesn't go super well. So let's just, skip a do over to the other side. Can you guess what's gonna happen? Like, just like based off the timeline of this of the video, can you guess what's gonna happen? So we're playing Tracer now for the defense, which is fine. Tracer is one of those heroes that is never bad. She's always fine, basically. I was gonna say maps with like vertical mobility aren't great for Tracer, but like she's still fine. she's still fine. So we're going in. We're trying to do our thing from before. There's a McCree. We managed to kill the McCree, which is great. But then we don't recall in time after that, and we end up getting killed by the Zenyatta instead, which is unfortunate because after we killed McCree, that's basically free reign at that point. Like he was the thing that was scary to us, but we didn't. Got killed after we killed the McCree. Now you gotta get back. Oh no, fucking Hanzo died as well. So, oh god, they're starting to push in. And yep, as you can see, this is, And we get back, we get hooked. Oh no, feels bad. It's already going pretty bad by that point. And, to everyone's surprise, we don't win that round. Is play the game here? No, play the game's not there. Didn't think so. So, if we compare this to game 2, Widowmaker wasn't working out to begin with, and here's, I'm gonna rotate the microphone slightly, so that's probably made a terrible noise as it grinded on the table. So, the thing here is that Widowmaker didn't really work out at the start. And we see on their team that they've got a Symmetra, and we lost the first fight. Symmetra's probably going to get to put a teleporter down at that point. At that point, we need to actually, kill the teleporter, which Widowmaker's going to have a hard time doing on Horizon. But that's, the more minor thing. The thing is that Widowmaker really wasn't working out in this game, and I'm not a fan of it map-wise, but we could just patently see it wasn't working out. And we commit to it for a solid 3.5 minutes of the round, and we only changed to Tracer at the very, very end when it's already so far gone that even if Tracer is a better pick, it's probably not going to salvage it at that point. Like, the round is basically over already. So, and it's going to be hard to get work done as Widowmaker in that situation. There's so many shields and there's just the geometry of the map is awkward. There's an Orisa shield. If Symmetra can throw her shield at us. People can just kind of get up on us as well. It's not unimaginable that we're standing up on the right and then McCree just comes up behind us and fucking kills us, right? The map is awkward for Widowmaker, and we can see it isn't working out. We don't change. So the thing that whereas compared to round 1, basically as soon as Widowmaker started going badly, we changed to Tracer, and then Tracer was a much better pick for the situation, and we were able to, and the reason we won that game, but basically is that we made sure between us and Mei, the backline had no fun at all for the entire game, and they just lost certain fights as a result of that. Whereas in this round, Widow wasn't working out, we just committed to it, it never started working out, and then when we decide to change, it's already over. So basically, the prime difference between the round that went well and the round that went badly is failure to adapt quickly enough, pretty much. Now, I'm not certain that changing off of Widowmaker was actually going to make it go any better, because just from the way the game went, I kind of feel like you were going to have to do a lot of work to actually make that game work out. Tracer would have been better than Widowmaker in all likelihood, because you can break Symmetra's teleporter, you can do Tracer things. Tracer's never bad. Tracer kills a lot of people. Tracer is one of the premier carrying heroes because of the sheer amount of pressure she can apply to people. So basically, the thing that stands out to me is failure to adapt. And it looks like we were I feel like we were worse mechanically during this game, but whatever. That mechanical skill varies from game to game, Yeah, there's consistency to it, but some games you're just aim is gonna be great, and some games your aim is gonna be bad, right? Sometimes I play Widowmaker and I actually shoot someone. Sometimes I play most of the time I play Widowmaker and I don't shoot anyone. That's just how it is. So failure to adapt quickly enough to the situation is what stands out to me. And Overwatch is that way. I don't think, like, some people really oversell the aspect of, adapting to, like, switching heroes, right? I don't think it really matters that much in a lot of situations, because except that there are, like, obviously there are situations where it's going to really matter. If the enemy team's got a Widowmaker that's really fucking up your team and you change to Winston, yeah, that's probably going to change the game. But, like, as a relatively fringe situation, I think most of the time the situation is not that drastic and hero switching isn't that big of a deal. But if in a game you're playing a hero and it's just not working out, you have to be able to acknowledge, alright, it's not working out, and then just change, right? This is something that fucks people up. They sit and they commit to it. They're like, my fucking friend did this the other day. She was playing Widow and she was doing badly and she was like, I don't want to change because she actually said, I don't want to change because that means I have to admit I'd lost. Fucking admit you lost and change heroes. So failure to adapt is the thing that stands out to me between round 1 and round 2. The thing is, game 2 seems like it might have been, like, kind of an outlier situation, because I do feel like you probably were going to lose regardless, but that's the thing that stands out as the difference between the game we did well and the game we did badly. So before I repeat myself for about the 12th time, we're just going to end the video. Basically. Yes. Failure to adapt. There you go. Please, for the love of God, use Venom Mine. I don't care how you use it, just use it. Just put it somewhere. You could leave it in the spawn and I would have been happy at that point. Like, just somewhere. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. Hopefully this was illuminating and helps you with your consistency, and I hope you found the video helpful.